Now, ahead of the 2027 general elections, the national coordinator of the Obidient movement, Dr. Yunusa Tanko, has urged lovers of good governance in Nigeria to ensure that a new Nigeria is birthed in 2027. Speaking at a one-day event titled Repositioning the Obidient Movement for Greater Impact, organized by the Obidient Movement and Anambra State support groups, Tanko outlined the movement's renewed focus on mobilization, structure, and youth empowerment. Well, joining us now on the show is the national coordinator of the Obidient Movement, Dr. Yunusa Tanko. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning,
Dr. Tanko.
Yeah.
You are saying the Labour Party will be repositioned, that Mr. Peter Obi has the potential to become president in 2027. Well, I know politicians say we don't want to disclose our strategy. But in this case, you have to talk about that reposition because your party is divided. You have all kinds of persons who are even insisting that the ticket will not go to Mr. Peter Obi automatically. What is your confidence based upon? Meeting with support groups in Anambra does not really convince me, looking at all the gladiators in your party.
It was the great Chuba Akadibo of blessed memory who said that if you are emotionally attached to your tribe or religion and political lineage, and to a point that justice, fairness, and equity become a secondary consideration, then your exposure and your education is useless. He went further to say that where you cannot rise above petty sentiment, then you are a liability to mankind. We don't want to be a liability to mankind. We actually want to add value to mankind. And that is the reason why this particular position you already just railed out, it's clear to us that there are challenges with the Labour Party. And what do we do to mitigate these particular challenges? Is building the structures of the Obidient movement. You remember very clearly, during the 2023 general elections, we were accused, rightly so, that we do not have structures in all of the polling units. In fact, 1,760 polling units was not covered by the Labour Party. So what do we do learning from that experience? Is to say, this energy that we have on the Obidient movement, let's galvanize it to a point that we cover each of those particular polling units with what we call polling unit commanders. When we mobilize those particular unit commanders and they are cut across all of these particular polling units, we have a solid foundation to be able to push any of the ideas and find solutions to most of the challenges that we have in 2023. This, of course, is our target. For us, anybody who is interested in good governance, which has already been really put in place, and as the kind of words that His Excellency Peter Obi spoke and made it very clear to the Nigerian people, where we have 12.5 million of them registering to vote, give us this particular passion to say, yes, we can move this energy into a systematic way, using the ICT technology as a point to galvanize the Nigerian youth into voting. So we are getting prepared, and we are ready to face the challenges that we had over 2023 general elections.
Right. Now, the person of Peter Obi, of course, was a driving force in what we saw, should I say, the magnificent size that the Obidient movement was able to garner, especially in such a short period of time. However, with elections following the presidential election, we've seen that Peter Obi effect, as it's come to be known, has started to dwindle. What's the plan for the Obidient movement to be bigger than Peter Obi? Are there plans in place for that?
When we took over leadership of the Obidient movement, it is amazing, for the first time in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially in the northern part, where people do not really want to associate with people from the south, especially from the southeast. Today we have leaders, malams, challenging each other. Today we have young boys and girls saying that the next election we are going to put in a Christian ticket. Most of the time, mostly when you head from the north, you don't get this particular kind of word. So when you think that probably that particular number is dwindling, from our own investigation, that number is increasing. Where you thought we don't have them, we are now having them. The first program we did in Kano after I took over leadership was where I got the feeling that some of the key malams in Kano in particular are speaking to us. And the young generation, cover 44 local government in Kano, are saying, where are the offices? Where are the points where we will converge? This was not done. So I can tell you for sure that we are increasing. Probably what you are seeing is those particular words that probably some of them in the Twitter, where they think that they're doing.
I'm actually referring to election results.
Okay, the election result. Of course, you know the election result had to do with some of those particular candidates who would put in place, like for example in Edo, we had serious challenge, just like as he said. The party had a lot of challenges within itself, and that of course affected us very greatly. But we are refocusing our mind and saying this is what we need to do. We've learned from Imo, we've learned from Edo. Yesterday we were in Ondo State. And all of those ones have a reason why we do some of those particular. We understand the challenges, but we are trying to find solutions to them.
Couple of things.
Yes, please.
A lot of Nigerians are disappointed in the Labour candidates that were elected with the Obi wave in the last election, especially the lawmakers in the National Assembly.
Yes.
They too have become a rubber stamp. They have co-collected all sorts of frivolous monies against the Nigerian people. And the Labour lawmakers across board that were elected have been a disappointment to Nigerians. Make a case why Nigeria should trust Labour Party and probably the extension of the Obidient movement that put them in. And secondly, the infighting of people in the Obidient. We see their fights on Twitter. We see the open support from one party against the Labour Party in the elections. And people say the Obidient Party is not united as we speak. They are not together. Some people have even used the Obidient movement to go and do chop-chop. They've built popularity for themselves to go and do chop-chop and collect money somewhere else. The second question is, as it is today, do you people have a directory of all Obidient movement members? How many are they?
Exactly. Thank you for pointing out those particular facts. That is the reason why we are structurally putting it into place. The reason why we have already understood some of this, because you know, the Obidient movement ab initio was an amorphous organization. People were just doing what they can do. But now we are structuralizing everything into formally. Now, what we have in position now is that the national coordinator, we are going to have zonal coordinators, we are going to have state coordinators, we are going to have local government coordinators, and we are ending up with having unit commanders. Now, there are going to be a direction with a concept note that we've already put in place. And I can assure you, it will galvanize everybody into place so that all of these particular issues that you raise will not rear its heads. Because if there is no direction, nobody will be able to, we can't hold anybody responsible.
So are you saying people voted for the Labour Party members to be in National Assembly and there was no direction of the party to be able to tell them what to do?
You know,
that means the Labour Party was not prepared.
No.
Secondly, so you don't have the data of all Obedients now. You don't know their number. As it is.
No, we can't have the numbers because that's what we are trying to do.
There's not a registration portal.
Yes, that will be a next move that we are trying to do. We want to have a formal registration for each members. In fact, the data will be so much coordinated in such a way you can easily identify an Obidient where he resides and the point of his vote.
Why can't you people talk against the lawmakers, Labour Party lawmakers that has joined them in all of this shenanigans in crazy country?
Exactly.
Because they now feel Labour Party is a disappointment by those that they voted in.
Okay, let me explain. Like during the time of the issue of collecting of cars or no cars,
yes.
His Excellency Peter Obi, in building trust within the electorate, made it clear that he is not in support of anybody collecting cars and they should justify their move. It was public. And that to show you that he has a different direction. Also, it is also important for you to know that majority of the people who come into the Labour Party as at that time, many of them are greenhorns. They don't even know exactly what the Labour Party itself, the constitution of the manifesto of the Labour Party. So it is gradually that we are putting those particular right peg in the right hole. And that is the reason why that by the time we finish...
opportunists.
Yes, there was.
That used the Labour Party.
There was.
Dr. Tanko.
Yes.
How do you explain the confusion between the Obidient movement and the Labour Party to the Nigerian public? I think you once said that the people who are in the Obidient movement are not necessarily in the Labour Party. The people in the Labour Party are not necessarily Obedient. Now, how does the average man that you want his support or our support in 2027, how do you expect that voter to resolve that confusion?
Exactly. Now,
because Obidient has a different identity and character, different from that of the party, which some people say belongs to them.
yeah. Now, the party itself, remember, was midwife by the Nigerian Labour Congress long before now. There have been issues, quite all right, within the party. But when most of the Obidient movement came into the party, of course, they faced a little bit of resistance. But what we want to do, having learned from all of those lessons, is to say, look, the Obidient movement is bigger than the Labour Party. Just like as you rightly said, we have them in everywhere. Academicians, traders, some members of other political parties, even in the media, we have some of them. So, but what we want to do is that to ensure that we give a direction to say, look, we are moving into a political party, A or B, with this particular ideology and beliefs. Anybody does not believe in that, then they can keep away. Like His Excellency Peter Obi, who have been moving from point A to point B, trying to gain the trust of the Nigerian people. We were together with him at Anambra yesterday. It was one of the priests who even said that, sir, you made statement that you are going to come back. And you did. We were amazed. He made a statement on the 5th of August. And here he is today in November 10th, presenting them with a check. That is building of trust. So if he does that on a continuous basis, we were in Ondo, today is going to another place. So it's a continuous building of trust. We want to reshape that particular ideological belief and the difference from the party to
in other words, correct me if I'm wrong. If the platform of the Labour Party is not available to Mr. Peter Obi ahead of the 2027 election, we could see a situation whereby the Obidient movement will look for another special purpose vehicle, as it did in 2023. Are you certain about that? Because the people in Labour Party, they are not going to give up. The people who say they are the owners of the party, they are not going to give up. In fact, there is even one man that says he has the certificate making a Labour Party a legal entity. And that if the Obidients have any such certificate, they should come and produce it. So are we likely to see Mr. Peter Obi in another party? Politics
is dynamic, but once the idea is consistent, then of course you can always find a home. So in a way, that's what I'm saying. At this particular point in time, we are members of the Labour Party, and we're still fighting to ensure that the Labour Party becomes the party that everybody will trust. But where it becomes inevitable that the Labour Party is not ready to assimilate the idea of good governance and public and accountability to the people, of course, we have to look for another opportunity where we can really trade our market.
Okay, earlier when I asked you the first question, you made reference to a Christian ticket. Is that the direction you're moving in?
No, I just gave you a simple analogy of some of the kind of thinking that is happening even in the North, where you never thought that such a statement could really come out.
Is it a possibility? Is it something you're toying with, since you say you're hearing it from your followers? Is it something you will make the winning formula?
Politics is dynamic. Nobody would have thought that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, a person who state controlled only 8 local governments, could become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nothing is impossible.
Can I ask you one question quickly?
Yes.
It is said that Peter Obi has also been talking to Atiku Abubakar. If Atiku gives you a deal, would you guys take it?
In politics, you talk to a lot of people. As we are speaking, a lot of people believe that probably a bigger platform should be in which we should run.
People part of that mega platform that is coming.
We are talking to each other.
So there might be a mega platform,
party. Oh, sure, there may be a bigger platform.
Okay, so that means you people will morph your support from Labour Party and go to that bigger platform.
That is the reason why we are independently building the Obidient movement, to show our strength. Within a short period of time, you will get our numbers.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, Dr. Yunusa Tanko of the Obidient movement, we look forward to, seems the road to 2027 has kicked off bright and early. Thank you for your time.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much for having me.